Okay, so today we have lesson 6-7, which is solving inequalities by multiplying and dividing. So it says identify if the following inequalities are true or false. So what we want to do is our action is to add 2 to each side. So if I were to add 2 to both sides, I would get 4 is less than 12. Is this true or false? This is true. 4 is less than 12. Okay, the next action is to subtract 2 from each side. So minus 2 from both sides. So I get 0 is less than 8. Is 0 less than 8? True. Okay, so as you know, notice that was adding and subtracting. Okay, so now we're multiplying. Okay, so I'm going to switch up my color here. So for multiplying by a positive 2 to each side, so multiply by 2, we get 4 is less than 20. Is that true or false? That is true. And notice that it's a positive 2. Okay? The next one is dividing by a positive 2 to each side. So I'm going to divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Is 1 less than 5? Yes, so that is also true. Okay, now we have multiplying by a negative 2 to each side. So times by a negative 2 to both sides. So we get negative 4 is less than negative 20. This is actually false. So how could we actually make that true? Well, if you take a closer look, you could see that you can actually flip that sign. So if we had our sign flipped, is negative 4 greater than negative 20? Yes. Okay. So the next one here, again, we are going to divide by a negative 2 to both sides. So divide by a negative 2. And I'll get negative 1 is less than negative 5. This is also false. Okay. But if we're looking at it further, how could we make it true? Well, we could make it true if we flipped our sign, and then it would work. Okay, so it says, which specific action caused the inequality to become false? Well, the specific action would be multiplying and dividing by a negative. Okay, and it says when solving, if our action requires us to multiply or divide by a negative, we must, and this is what I was talking about in pink up here, so we must flip the inequality symbol to make it true. All right, so go ahead and flip it over to the next page. Okay, so for our first example here, we have x divided by negative 4 is less than negative 11. So in order to solve for x, we're going to multiply by a negative 4 on both sides. Remember, we just talked about if you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the sign. Okay, so our negative 4's are going to cancel. So we'd have x, and we're going to flip our sign because we multiply by a negative, is greater than, and then negative 11 times negative 4 is a positive 44. Now, a way that you could check this to make sure you got it right is pick a number greater than 44. So let's do a number that's divisible by 4. So let's say 48. Okay, so let's say x is going to be 48. If we did 48 divided by negative 4, and we had is less than negative 11. 48 divided by negative 4 is negative 12. Is negative 12 less than negative 11? Yes, so we know we're correct. Okay. Number 2, we're dividing by a 6, not a negative 6 because there's no negative sign in front, just a positive 6. So our 6's cancel, and we're left with y is less than negative 3. We don't flip the sign because the number we were dividing by was not a negative. All right, so I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to practice letters A, B, C, and D. All right, so for letter A, you had to divide by a -3. So you get x, and then is less than or equal to -11 because we had to flip our sign. Okay. Letter B, we have to multiply by a -2 to both sides. So we would have x is greater than -12. And remember, we had to flip because we are multiplying by a negative. And then our last one, we had to divide by 8 on both sides, but the number we're dividing by is not a negative, so we don't flip it. So we would have -7 is greater than or equal to x, or you could always write it as x is less than or equal to -7. All right, so for number 3, it says write an inequality and solve each problem. So it says 2 less than a number is less than 9. So 2 less than a number. So it's like you have a number, and you're saying you're taking away 2 from that number. Then we have is less than, so we have to use our less than symbol, and then 9. Okay, so our answer here, we have x minus 2 is less than 9. We would add 2 to both sides. We'd have x is less than 11. Okay, number 4. It says the sum of a number, so sum, remember, is when we add together, of a number and 8 is more than 4. So a number, n, plus 8 is more than 4. So we know that is greater than. So our answer, I used an n, not an x. So n plus 8 is greater than 4. So I would subtract 8. Remember, just because we're subtracting, you do not flip only. That's only for multiplication and division. So we'd have n is greater than -4. All right, on to the next page. Okay, so it says Rogan is burning a music CD. The CD holds at most 70 minutes of music. Rogan has already selected 45 minutes of music. Write and solve an inequality to find out how many more minutes of music Rogan can select. So he already has 45, okay, and at most, he cannot have any more than 70 minutes. So we'd have 45 plus x is less than or equal to 70. So from here, for our answer, we'd have 45 plus x is less than or equal to 70. We would subtract 45. So we have x is less than or equal to 25. So it does say, what does your answer mean? And this would mean that Rogan can add 25 minutes of music or less to his CD. All right, number 6. So it says Petra must write a report with more than 1,000 words for her history class. So far, she has written 684 words. So this is how much she's already written. Write and solve an inequality to find out how many more words Petra needs to write for her report. So she can have no more, or it was to have more than 1,000 words. So she needs bigger or more amounts of words than 1,000. She already wrote 684, and she's seeing how many more she actually needs. So for our answer, we're going to subtract 684 to both sides. So I would get x is greater than 316. And it says, what does your answer mean? You would say that Petra needs to write more than 316 words. Alrighty, go ahead and flip it over to the back. 2 more problems. Okay, so it says, Leslie hopes to be at least 72 inches tall. Right now, so this is at least 72 inches tall. Right now, he is 56 inches. Write and solve the inequality to find out how much more Leslie would like to grow. So, it's at least 72. So that's the smallest number we want to be. Okay, so we are already 56, and we want to find out how much more at least we need to grow. So we have 56 plus x is greater than or equal to 72. I'm going to subtract 56, and I get x is greater than or equal to 16. So this would mean that Leslie needs to grow at least 16 more inches. Alrighty, and then our last problem. So it says there is space for 120 students to go on a field trip. Currently, 74 students have signed up. Write and solve an inequality to find how many more students can sign up for the field trip. So it says there's only space for 120, but there is space for 120. So this is the max number, or it can equal 120. Then we have 74 students. We're trying to find out how many more we need. So if we have 74 plus x is less than or equal to 120, we would subtract 74. So we have x is less than or equal to 46. So this would mean that up to 46 more students can sign up for the field trip. Thanks for watching.